5 signs your relationship is draining you, not growing you. Love is supposed to feel like a safe place, so why do you feel more exhausted being with them than being alone? I want you to sit with that question for a moment, because if it hit you somewhere real, then this episode is for you. Welcome to Heart Talks Daily. Today, we're talking about something a lot of people feel, but very few are willing to say out loud. What happens when the relationship you fought so hard for starts quietly taking more than it gives? Let's talk about it. The first sign: you've started editing yourself. Think about who you were before this relationship, how freely you laughed, how easily you shared your thoughts, how you didn't stop to calculate. Will this upset them? Will this start an argument? Should I just not say anything? Now think about who you are today. Are you still that person? Or have you slowly, quietly made yourself smaller? Because here's what nobody tells you about that. When you shrink yourself for someone's comfort, you don't just lose your voice, you lose trust in yourself. You start second-guessing your own feelings. You start asking yourself, am I being too sensitive? Am I asking for too much? And the answer, every time, is no. You are not too sensitive. You have simply been trained to see your own needs as a problem. The second sign: the apologies only flow in one direction, and that direction is you. Now, I want to be careful here because accountability matters, and sometimes we do need to apologize. But there's a difference between owning your mistakes and apologizing just to end the silence, apologizing just to stop the tension, apologizing because somewhere along the way, keeping the peace became your full-time job. If you are always the one reaching out first after a fight, always the one softening your tone first, always the one making it okay again, ask yourself, what happens when you don't? What happens when you wait? If the answer is nothing, if they don't reach back, if the silence just stays, that tells you everything. Love doesn't keep score, but it does show up. Third sign, and this one's subtle, so pay attention. You've started waking up, and your very first thought is, what mood are they in today? Before you've even had a chance to check in with yourself, before you've even had a moment to just be, you're already scanning, already adjusting, already preparing, because their energy sets the tone for everything. If they're good, you exhale. If they're off, you brace yourself, and you spend the rest of the day on eggshells, trying not to trigger something you don't even understand. That is not a partnership, that is management. And you deserve someone whose moods don't feel like weather you have to survive. The fourth sign: you've started going quiet about your future. There was a time you had things you wanted, goals, dreams you were building toward, things that made your eyes light up when you talked about them. When did you stop talking about those things? When did their opinion of your dreams start to matter more than the dreams themselves? Because sometimes a draining relationship doesn't scream at you. It doesn't always look like fighting and tears. Sometimes it just quietly dims your light, one small dismissal at a time, one "that's unrealistic" at a time, one moment where you shared something sacred and they made you feel foolish for it, and eventually you stopped sharing. If the person who's supposed to be in your corner makes you feel smaller when you dream out loud, they are not your person. The fifth sign, and honestly, the most heartbreaking one: you feel alone. Not when you're by yourself, not when you're with friends, but when you're right next to them. That particular loneliness, the kind you feel inside a relationship, is one of the quietest, deepest pains a person can carry, because you can't even name it clearly at first. You just know something is missing. You sit across from them at dinner and feel like you're sitting across from a stranger. You lie next to them at night, and the distance between you feels infinite. That is not just a rough patch. That is a disconnection that has been building for a long time, and it is worth paying attention to. None of these signs mean your relationship is automatically over, but they do mean something needs to change, either together or on your own. Because here is the thing about growth. Real growth in a relationship feels like expansion, like you are becoming more of who you are, not less. If your relationship is consistently making you feel smaller, anxious, more alone, you are allowed to want something different. You are allowed to ask for more. And if asking for more costs you the relationship, then what you're losing wasn't the love you were looking for anyway. You deserve a love that grows you, full stop. If any of these 5 signs felt too familiar, you are not alone. Drop a comment below, tell me which one hit hardest, because I read every single one. Subscribe to Heart Talks Daily, new episodes every day, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the right words find us exactly when we need them most. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.